At my fiancé's family dinner, Clara lifted a crystal flute and announced, "My ex will always be part of my life. If you don't like that, don't marry me." Everyone turned to me like I was a button they were waiting to press. I said one word, "Okay." By the next week, the invitations were gone, and so was the wedding. I wish I could say I missed the red flags. I saw them. I just decided they were decorative, like the plastic pennants flapping over a used car lot while you're busy falling in love with the great deal on the shiny lemon up front. Marrying Clara Prescott was like buying a luxury golf cart someone had labeled sedan and financing it with a subscription service you never asked for. She wasn't just a person. She was a package. Old money, curated closets, a social calendar with a PR budget, and a supporting cast on retainer. I didn't propose to one woman. I got conscripted into a dynasty with bylaws, and then there was Adrian. Not her ex in the normal adult sense, more like a lifestyle accessory stamped heirloom. He had keys to her parents' mansion, a monogrammed keychain, and a permanent seat between Clara and her mother at every holiday. He floated through their kitchen, spooning artisanal jam like a man who'd never met a boundary. Whenever I pointed out the weirdness, "Maybe your ex doesn't need house keys," or "Why does he know our trip before I do?" Clara laughed the laugh people use when a puppy barks at thunder. Her parents, Martin and Gloria, smiled like country club lifeguards and said I'd understand when I'd been around longer. Translation: keep quiet and pass the imported water, the summit we. Scheduled the great family introduction, my parents, Frank and Lillian, coupon clippers, bread bag savers, deadly polite versus the Prescotts, who drink $400 wine on a Tuesday and call it mindfulness. I pulled into their circular driveway in my dad's 2012 Camry and parked next to a Rolls. The valet looked at the Toyota like it was a stray dog that had wandered onto the tennis court. Inside, the mansion was all white, cream, and don't touch that. There were more forks than I have opinions, and waiters who refilled water glasses the second the meniscus dared to dip. Seating chart, Clara at one end, Martin at the head, Gloria in the command zone. My parents exiled to the far galaxy. Me in midfield. Adrian? He sat in the power pocket between Clara and Gloria like a portrait no one had taken down. Small talk crawled. We arrived at the wedding. Gloria, dabbing at her lips with silk, said, "Main table. Immediate family. Martin. Me, Nana, if she's well, Aunt Constance, and naturally, Adrian." My mother's smile stayed, but her soul left her body. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "Does Adrian need to be at the main table?" The room vacuum sealed. Clara's cheeks reddened. Martin inflated. "Adrian is family." Gloria added, "We are beyond conventional boundaries." Clara stood, raised her glass, and gave her thesis. "Adrian will be at the wedding. He'll be at every holiday, every baptism, every vacation. He is part of me. This is non-negotiable. If you don't like it, don't marry me." There it was. The contract. I set down my fork, folded my napkin like I was clocking out of a job, stood up and said, "Okay." Confusion flickered across her face. "Okay? I won't marry you." We left. Past the cherub fountain, past the relieved valet, back to the Camry and the kind of silence that feels like fresh air. Fallout at home, my phone lit up like a slot machine. "Clara, call me." "Clara, you're being ridiculous." "Martin, do you know what this costs?" "Gloria, darling, let's be reasonable." "Adrian, dude, what are you doing? I called the planner and canceled everything." "Send the fees to the Prescotts," I said. It was their party. By morning, I had 47 missed calls and a voicemail from a lawyer about breach of promise. I laughed. "Your client's daughter said her ex is a permanent feature." I declined to purchase the package. That's not breach. That's informed consumer behavior. Silence. Click. Word spread. The Prescott social sphere eats drama like hors d'oeuvres, and I had just catered a buffet. Group chats lit up. The keys, the main table, the ultimatum. The sympathy the Prescotts expected did not arrive. Their flex had become a cautionary tale, and Adrian, our family friend, vanished. According to the grapevine, he slow-faded Clara and reappeared 2 weeks later at brunch with a 26-year-old Pilates instructor named Sage. Of course her name was Sage. Parasites don't love hosts. They love hospitality. When the brand lost its shine, he found a new dock. Clara couldn't even complain without confessing the premise. My ex, whom I declared non-negotiable, ghosted me. So she told people he needed space, life. Resumed freed from the Prescott weather system, I booked a solo trip to Paris. The city Clara said smelled like bread and cigarettes. It does smell like bread. And coffee. And crepes. I stayed in a cheap Marais hotel with a courtyard and arguments in French at 2 a.m. Perfect. Back home, work clicked. I landed the biggest contract of my career. Turns out, when you stop white-knuckling a doomed relationship, your brain becomes available for other tasks. Then I met Sophia at a work mixer. Scrubs under a cardigan, surgeon, laugh like an inside joke. At the shrimp tray, she said, "These are a gamble." I accept the terms. We talked for hours. When I told her the Clara story, ex at the head table, non-negotiable, she barked a laugh. I'm not psych, but I can diagnose that. We dated. On the fourth date, she took me to her parents' house where love is measured in carbohydrates. Rosa shoved food at me and called me too skinny. Marco told a honeymoon story that involved a nun and a liver mix-up. Everyone talked at once. It was loud, chaotic, and exactly right. No choreography, no performance, just family. 1 year later, Sophia's hospital hosted a charity gala. Tux that fit, decent wine, art I didn't understand. We were debating whether a red canvas with an angry bird was about capitalism when I saw her. Clara. She wasn't a guest. She was wearing a black apron and carrying a tray of champagne. She moved like staff move, efficient, unseen. Then she looked up and saw me. Her face did a series of emotions in fast forward. Recognition, surprise, embarrassment, grief. She straightened into professional neutral and tried to ghost toward the kitchen. She had to pass us. As she did, Sophia lifted her glass, one Clara had likely poured, and gave a small human smile. Not cruel, not gloating, just, I see you. Clara bolted. That was the last time I saw her. We drifted to the silent auction where Sophia got into a bidding war over a sculpture that may have been a dolphin or a metaphor for joy. She won, she usually does. I raised my glass, the one Clara's tray had carried, and thought about the year. The mansion, the ultimatum, the word that set me free. I didn't toast revenge. I toasted second chances and the sacred, underrated power of a boundary. What are we drinking to? Sophia asked. To saying no, I said. She clinked my glass and smiled. Best word in the language. Sometimes okay ends a bad story. No starts a better one.